Today, we're going to talk about ways that you could save a lot of time and a lot of pain when using Claude. And the great thing is Claude has made it easy for us so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we enter a thread and want to do something similar that we've already done before. How? With something called Claude Skills and Claude Artifacts. And you might have even heard about them before, but how do you actually use them in real time? I'm going to show us today using an interesting use case that I came up with around creating a quiz. So if you're a learning designer, there's even a little extra fun thrown in here for you, but this is definitely for all of us. The takeaway, how to make Claude work for us faster and more efficiently. So then I ask it to create this 10-item quiz to make sure to include only relevant material, nothing trivial. I'm going to use the upload. I then go to one of a couple of YouTube videos on Claude Skills. I go to the transcript, I copy and paste essentially the entire thing because it's easy to do, but Claude will know the difference. I go to Claude, paste the transcript. I then post the second transcript. And of course, you can post 3 or 4 transcripts, but these are 20-minute long YouTube videos, lots of information, a wealth of it for Claude to draw from in creating this 10-item quiz. Let's have a look. You can see Claude working its magic here. And yes, this is a Claude-colored shirt. Wow, here it is. That took about a minute. You didn't see that off-camera time. And we have questions here, 1 through 10, starting with something easy. You can see how it has created that question. And then I can click into the question by, well, getting that one wrong on purpose, clicking into the next one, but essentially we work through it the way we would with a real quiz here. These are getting harder and harder, but you get the sense. Now, does that mean we're done? Well, I probably want to share this with team members or even friends, people I know who are working on skills. How do I turn that into something that's shareable? Well, that's where Claude Artifacts comes into play. Now, you might also be wondering, what if the quiz isn't good? What if you need to provide some feedback? Especially if you're a learning designer, this can oftentimes be the case, but no worries. You give feedback here in this thread, and that's what's going to be important to something I'm going to talk about in a moment here with skills. Let's say you've done that, and I've refined questions 4, 5, and 6, just throwing that out there. You can then create this into what is called an artifact. An artifact is something, again, that you can share with people that you know, people on your team, whoever you think can benefit from this. So I'm going to copy paste here this question to Claude, which is, can you turn this into an artifact and can you use the branding skill? Branding skill means that I've already created something in the past that is a specific design template so that Claude knows that when I create quizzes, I want them to look a certain way. So that we're turning this into an artifact and we're turning this into a branded artifact. We're going to see what that looks like in a second. Got it. Here you can see Claude chugging away. Bespoke AI is my company and it is creating it in that palette. And here you can see it rendering an artifact. How do I know that? Because it opens up that right panel. And rather than just give me the quiz the way we saw it there, it added my company logo here, Bespoke AI Solutions, gave it that little pine green touch, which of course is my branding. And I can also simply download this. And once I've downloaded it, I can share this with others. I can also publish this artifact. What does it mean to publish? Well, publishing this artifact will make it accessible to anyone on the internet and potentially visible in search engine results. Depending on you, if you want to do this, that's your call. But why would you want to do this? It makes it easy to share. It makes it easy to potentially build your brand. If it shows up in search engine results, you are essentially creating content assets that anyone can find, building your brand. Of course, that's up to you. If you want to keep it just with your group, if it's proprietary information, then definitely don't publish this as an artifact. The one final piece of the puzzle here is with Claude Skills. Once you've gone through and you've taught in the thread, we're looking at the thread right now, you've taught or trained, whatever word you want to use, Claude to do something. You don't want to have to keep doing this every time you want to create a quiz. Notice there was a little bit of pushback I gave. I said, I don't like these few questions. Let's change this. Let's make this more rigorous, up to the learning design standards. Whatever your pushback is, you can encapsulate that by turning this into a Claude skill. How? Well, you can go on the back end and move things around, a little technical, or you can just ask Claude to do it. And so that's what we're going to do here in this window. And let's see what it comes up with. And here it's telling us that it's time for a skill. It was a good read. They're going to extract what actually made this quiz work. Again, if you don't actually do much in terms of back and forth, it's just out of the box, which can sometimes happen. That's great. You don't need to create a skill. It's when you really have to labor, put in your intellectual effort to get something that you know is of a high standard. That's when you want to try it. That's when you turn it into a skill because it's easily replicable. You can go back a week from now and just call up that specific skill by putting in a forward hash mark. Right now, I have a couple of skills right here, much more in my other Claude. But on this one, I just have a few. What I don't have is the one that is right, that it's in the process of making. But as soon as it creates that, you're going to see, or I'm going to see this skill created here in this dropdown. So going forward, the quiz creator, it'll probably be called something like that. Just add / quiz creator, and I'm going to get this high quality quiz. I can also add another skill if I want to have, again, my branding, personal branding there with Bespoke AI Solutions. So you can put multiple skills on top of each other, but it means you aren't always reinventing the wheel every single time that you try to do something on Claude. That's what makes skills so powerful. And that's what makes artifacts great because they're very shareable. So think of it this way: artifacts, finished product that you could share with others, skills, the actual instructions that you give to Claude AI, the actual pushback that you give so that it can arrive at an artifact.